You're listening to Full Circle Weekly News of the open source community presented by Full Circle Magazine. These articles are compiled by Eric the Unready, and I'm your host, Moss Bliss. This is episode 409, covering week 15, April 7th to 13th, 2025. In the latest macOS 15.4 update released last week, Apple replaced the rsync utility with OpenRSync, developed by the OpenBSD project. The executable file/user/bind/rsync in macOS now refers to OpenRSync. The reasons for the replacement are believed to be recently discovered security issues in rsync, work to reduce components under copyleft licenses, and the desire to get rid of an outdated version of rsync which cannot be updated due to licensing policies. The key features of OpenRSync are that it was initially developed with high security in mind, that it is licensed under the permissive ISC BSD family license instead of rsync's copyleft GPL license, and that it uses a different internal architecture, one process for sending and receiving data using an event loop. At the protocol level, OpenRSync is compatible with rsync but does not support all command line options, only the most commonly used ones for file synchronization and backup. Given that macOS had been shipping the outdated rsync 2.6.9 released in November 2006, the replacement will not result in any significant reduction in functionality. rsync 2.6.9 was chosen as the last version distributed under the GPL v2 Plus license. The next release was rsync 3.0, which was switched to the GPL v3 license, which prohibits tying software to hardware. The Wayland Protocols Package 1.43 has been released, containing a set of protocols and extensions that complement the core Wayland protocol and provide the capabilities needed to build composite servers and user environments. Wayland-Protocols 1.43 adds a new protocol, XDG-top-level-tag, which allows Wayland clients to attach tags to top-level surfaces that the compositing server can use to identify windows after an application restart. This type of identification is useful to restoring the partition, size, and properties of windows after a restart, and for defining special rules for certain types of windows. Other improvements include the addition of top-level surface edge operation constraint information to the XDG-shell protocol, which can be used by the compositing manager to inform Wayland clients of constraints such as whether windows can be resized or not. The OpenSSL 3.5.0 library has been released, implementing the SSL/TLS protocols and various encryption algorithms. OpenSSL 3.5 is classified as a long-term support release, with updates being released until April 2030. The project code is distributed on the Apache 2.0 license. A stable version of the FreeDOS 1.4 operating system has been published, developing a free alternative to DOS with an environment of GNU utilities. The FreeDOS code is distributed under the GPL v2 license. Builds for booting from floppy disks, CDs, and USB flash drives are available for download. The FreeDOS project was founded in 1994 and can be used in areas such as pre-installation of a minimal environment on new computers, launching old games, use on embedded equipment, teaching students the basics of building operating systems, use in emulators, creating CD/flash for installing firmware, and configuring a motherboard. Pale Moon 33.7.0 web browser has been published. It has been forked from the Firefox codebase to provide higher performance, preserve the classic interface, minimize memory consumption, and provide additional customization options. Pale Moon builds are generated for Windows and Linux at x86-64. The project code is distributed on the MPL v2 Mozilla public license. Rarely used browsers continue to experience problems with passing the CAPTCHA check when logging into sites that use Cloudflare. When launched in Pale Moon, the Cloudflare check script freezes. The creator of Pale Moon claims that the problem is on the side of Cloudflare, which is delaying its elimination and requires developers to sign a non-disclosure agreement to begin the discussion. In addition to Pale Moon, the CAPTCHA freeze also occurs in Basilisk, WaterFox, Falcon, SeaMonkey, Thorium, Ungoogled Chromium, Kmelion, LibreWolf, MyPal68, Otter, and some browsers on the ESR branch of Firefox. The noted browsers are built on different engines, including current ones, so the problem probably occurs due to the activation of bot protection when detecting behavior that is not typical for the most popular browsers. CozyStack 0.30.0, built on Kubernetes, is available. The project aims to provide a ready-made platform for hosting providers and a framework for building private and public clouds. The platform is installed directly on servers and covers all aspects of preparing the infrastructure for providing managed services. CozyStack allows you to launch and provide Kubernetes clusters, databases, and virtual machines. The platform code is available on GitHub and is distributed under the Apache 2.0 license. Talos Linux and FluxCD are used as the base technology stack. Images with the system kernel and necessary modules are generated in advance and updated atomically, which allows the user to do without such components as the KMS and a package manager and guarantee stable operation. A simple installation method is provided in an empty data center using PXE and a Debian-like installer Talos-Bootstrap. The platform includes a free implementation of the network infrastructure based on QBOVN and uses Cilium for the service network, MetalLB to announce services to the outside. The storage is implemented on LinStore, which suggests using ZFS as a base layer for storage, and DRBD for replication. There is a pre-configured monitoring stack based on Victoria Metrics and Grafana. To launch virtual machines, QBVirt technology is used, which allows you to launch classic virtual machines directly in Kubernetes clusters and already has all the necessary integrations with the cluster API to launch managed Kubernetes clusters inside a hardware Kubernetes cluster. OpenSSH 10.0 has been released, an open-source implementation of the client and server for working with the SSH 2.0 and SFTP protocols. They remove support for the DSA signature algorithm as well as the finite field Diffie-Hellman key exchange in SSHD. While these changes may cause breakages, it is for the better of Linux as a whole. There are also new features in version 10.0, mostly geared towards encryption, like the hybrid post-quantum algorithm MLKEM768X25519-SHA256 is now used by default for key agreement or prefer AES-GCM to AES-CTR mode when selecting a cipher for the connection. The GNU project has released gzip 1.14, which includes the gzip, gunzip, zmore, and zcat utilities for compressing and decompressing data using the LZ77 algorithm. The new release significantly speeds up decompression operations on x86-64 systems that support PCL-MUL processor instructions. The performance gains reach 40%, and on systems without PCL-MUL support up to 20%. The speedup is achieved by optimizing checksum operations, which used to take up about half of the CPU time. An optimized version of CRC has already been added to the GNU Lib library, which will speed up other GNU projects that use checksum functions. Changes that break compatibility. They stopped the installation of the zmore utility on platforms that do not use the more utility, stopped processing the gzip environment variable in situations where it specifies options other than tick1 through tick9, tick-tick resyncable, and tick-tick synchronous. Angie 1.9.0, the high-performance HTTP server and multi-protocol proxy server, is presented. It was forked from Nginx by a group of former project developers who left F5 Network. The source code of Angie is available under the BSD license. The development is supported by WebServer, founded in the fall of 2022 and having received investments of $1 million. Among the co-owners of WebServer are Valentin Bartanev, leader of the team that developed the Nginx unit product, Ivan Polyonov, former head of front-end developers of Rambler and Mail.ru, Oleg Mamontov, head of the technical support team of Nginx Inc., and Ruslan Ermolov. Nate Graham has published another KDE development report. The most notable change is the addition of initial support for the XDG-Session-Management Wayland protocol to the KWin Compositing Manager codebase. The change allows for restoring the state of Windows from an interrupted session in Wayland-based environments. The change is planned to be included in the KDE Plasma 6.4 release. Of all the capabilities, only restoring the size and position of Windows as well as their binding to virtual desktops is currently supported. The contents of Windows are not restored yet, but this feature is intended to be implemented in the next stage. The Fedora Engineering Steering Committee has approved a project to provide repeatable package builds in the fall release of Fedora 43. The goal of the initiative is to be able to use repeatable builds for at least 99% of the packages in the repository. Repeatable builds will allow you to create your own RPM packages that match the ready-made binary packages offered for download. The matches are provided at the level of the main metadata and files included in the package. The user will be able to personally verify that the binary files distributed in the packages are compiled from the provided source texts and do not contain hidden changes. Checking the identity of the binary build allows you to not rely on only trust in the distribution's build infrastructure, where a compromise of the compiler or build tools can lead to the substitution of hidden bookmarks. The Wine-Wayland 10.5 project is out. It develops a set of patches for using Wine in environments based on the Wayland protocol without using X-Wayland and X11 components. Partially, many Wine-Wayland developments included in the Wine-Wayland-DRV driver have been transferred to the main Wine package. The new release is notable for its synchronization with Wine 10 branch and for updating the versions of DXVK, VKD3D, and Mango HUD. Instead of FSync, the NT-Sync driver is used, implementing a set of primitives for synchronization used in the Windows NT kernel. Distributions can use Wine-Wayland to create Wayland environments with support for running Windows applications that do not require installing packages related to X11. Wine-Wayland provides the ability to run games and applications that use the Vulkan and Direct3D 9, 11, and 12 graphics API. Direct3D support is implemented using the DXVK layer, which translates calls to the Vulkan API. The NT-Sync driver is used to increase the performance of multi-threaded games, and AMD FSR technology is used to improve image quality when scaling on high-resolution screens. The Open Raster Graphics Editor Pinta 3.0 was presented. It was founded in 2010 as an attempt to create a simpler version of the Paint.net program written using GTK. The editor is aimed at beginners and provides a basic set of features for drawing and image processing. The interface is simplified as much as possible. The editor supports an unlimited buffer of changes rollback, allows you to work with several layers, and is equipped with a set of tools for applying various effects and adjusting images. The interface has been redesigned and optimized, switching to the GTK4 and libadwaita libraries. The changes affect both the appearance, which was redesigned in accordance with the GNOME Human Interface Guidelines, and the image editing process, which became more obvious for users with experience working with common proprietary graphics packages. The Pinta code is distributed under the MIT license. The project is written in C# using .NET and the GTK Sharp binding. Binary builds are prepared for Linux as Flatpak and Snap, Mac OS, and Windows. You've been listening to Full Circle Weekly News. For more details, see the next issue of the magazine at fullcirclemagazine.org or check the links in the show notes. You can contact me at bardmoss@pm.me. I'll see you next week.